right, it's been a minute.
I know.
All right, let me warm it up.
Shake it out.
Lion
Shake it
face.
out.
Lemon face. Ooh. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Scattercast. On this episode, we're going to get into some backlog Magic talk. It's been a little bit since we've discussed Magic.
Yep.
But if you're not into Magic, it's always entertaining to listen to us because we usually throw in some stories and some things that have been going on that aren't directly related to the card game.
Oh, dude, Magic talk is always fun. So,
So
just stay for the jokes, stay for
yeah,
the camaraderie.
yes.
This is a good one.
But we talked a little bit a few weeks ago. Somewhere there'll be a link about it. But we talked a few weeks ago about Strixhaven and about it coming out. Usually when I say that I'm going to be into something or not into something, there's like 50-50 chance the opposite's going to happen. Right. But I actually kind of somehow just kind of missed it. But then you picked it up. And no, nothing against Strixhaven. I spent a lot of money in Kaldheim.
Yeah.
Really got into it. We also talked a few times another episode ago about some of the crossovers with Magic, so I kind of slept on this a little bit, knowingly kind of slept on it, but you didn't. And I'm interested in knowing your thoughts about it and kind of your experience with getting this set and some of the cool things. Cause you were sending me some pictures of some commander decks and some stuff that's going on. So you wanted to get on here and talk about that a little bit. And I want to listen to what you got to say.
Yeah. So primarily, I'm with you. I did for a moment kind of sleep on this new set. I didn't really look at a whole bunch of the spoilers and stuff like that because I didn't really this is terrible to say, but I didn't really care about this set so much. We had already talked about this in previous casts where this set was kind of being dubbed MtG Harry Potter because of its whole thing with like the schools of magic and stuff like that. And I can kind of tell you from what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem very Harry Potter-ish to me at all. So
you don't get it.
I just like this, and that's not saying that this is a bad set.
Yeah,
it's just for me personally, I didn't feel like this set was like really bringing me in. When you're a newer Magic player, there's either going to be something that brings you to Magic or it doesn't. So if you're brand new to Magic, like something brought you to it, something interested you. Either you were looking at the content that's out at the time and you're like, oh, this looks interesting to me, so I'm going to pick this up. Or you have a friend that's doing it and they pull you in so you don't know any better. But as you start to become a veteran, like I am,
you don't know any better.
There are certain things that are going to appeal to you more than others. So maybe you really like artifacts. So I remember back, this is a perfect example. I remember back, and I was proven wrong, but I remember back when I was a brand new Magic player. I came in during World Wake, which is when Jason the Mind Sculptor was. So anybody knows anything, that's when Jason Mind, and then Rise of the Eldrazi came out after that, and that was like the big giant like Titans at the time. And then after Rise of the Eldrazi and the core set, the next main world was Mirrodin. It was an all artifact world, Scars of Mirrodin, sorry. And so at the time, for me, I was like, oh, gross, like a freaking set all devoted to like artifacts, not knowing that like, okay, it can have a heavy artifact theme, but they can't make an all artifact set. So unbeknownst to me, yes, the set turned out fine. There was awesome cards in that set, whatever. But the point is that there's certain things that when they come out now, flash forward a couple years after that, they had a set coming out called Innistrad, which was like gothic horror, like vampires, werewolves, stuff like that. And I'm all like, oh God, that's like all my jam. So where I'm going with all that is that when I found out about this Strixhaven, Schools of Magic, kind of like Harry Potter or whatever, I wasn't like booing it, but at the same time, there like wasn't anything that was like really pulling me in.
Yeah.
And then right before the set comes out, it completely totally dawns on me, oh wait, this is the set that they're going to introduce 5 new commander decks in. And then my interest was
and
piqued.
you're like,
so yep, so they've got your commander precons.
all right.
And so I was like, shit. So I started picking those up.
And now I feel like this is going to be one of those sets that, because they might like hedge their bet a little bit and be like, this is going to be a set that's going to get people in. We might print more of these. So like if we're out and about and you got to go check the card. While the card aisle exists, check the card aisle a little bit.
And we'll talk about that.
And, grab some, because when I was at Meyer when Kaldheim dropped, and there was like a lot of older sets, but Magic stuff usually doesn't go on sale even at big box stores. They might do like 15% off, but it's
no, every once in a while Meyer will do like some crazy shit where it's like buy one get one 50% off.
Yeah,
and so that's like a
I would probably pick one of those
because like
up,
if you because you can get like whatever they call them now. I always call them fat packs, but that's not what they're called now. The bundles. It's like 10 packs in the box. You get the big spin down. And that's like the thought of like, oh shit, getting one of those plus 50% off, or getting a commander deck, because that's like the same price as a bundle right now. So getting a commander deck plus a bundle for half off, that'd be pretty tight. But I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't interrupt anything. No, I'm good.
But no, so see, I kind of fell asleep on this one. I didn't really follow the spoilers much, and half the reason why is because I don't really play much competitive Magic anymore. Because of the pandemic, obviously, I can't go to Friday Night Magics. I can't go to Star City Games tournaments like that.
Yeah.
That was like something that was like put on hold. Now things are opening up and we'll see where that goes. But it's been a couple of years since I've been able to do something like that. So like my main focus is kind of like the tabletop stuff. So the commander, the stuff like that. That being said, that's kind of led us to where we're at in kind of the Magic world right now, if you were to say, because I think Wizards has started to realize that, like, holy shit, the Magic player, like the commander players, the tabletop players, the casuals are really driving this format, and that has caused them to make some decisions that they've made, and it's got some feathers ruffled and stuff like that. But I'm here to talk about the optimistic side of that. So if we want to get into that in a little bit, because I think that there were some people that like kind of shit the bed at the announcement, but it's not all doom and gloom, and I'll get into that in a minute. So
but no,
have you seen any of the Strixhaven stuff, or are you like totally blind?
I've seen a little bit on Dicebreaker right before it came out, and the algorithm will show me some stuff every once in a while. But I haven't. I didn't get burned out. So burned out is not. But we were like red hot into Magic, and I mean it was winter. We hadn't yet started playing Dungeons and Dragons together again. We were kind of in between, and like a great chocolate peanut butter, which I probably shouldn't use that now anymore, considering our own father does not like chocolate and peanut butter, but most people like chocolate and peanut butter. And but that great like two things coming together and making like something really, really good, maybe lamb and meatballs, no, whatever, lamb and spaghetti. Like having like two things come together, and I feel like that fueled a lot of me being into Magic. And then once we started getting a little bit into some other stuff, it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm burned out, I'll take a break. It was almost like, no, I don't want to get burned out. I spent a lot of money. I went through. We have a video on a case that you should go get for travel. And it was like sort of like I feel like I got my money's worth a lot out of it too, and I didn't want to get into another set and just shovel more onto that and then get overwhelmed.
That's where I'm at too, because we got like the Ikoria set, which was aka
this time last year.
the Godzilla special shit. There was Secret Lairs that came out at that time that I bought in on. There was Commander decks that came out with Ikoria. So I was like, fuck, even though I bought a box, I'm buying this. And then all of a sudden, like we like go a couple months and then Kaldheim comes out and it's like, fuck, dude, this is like a metal like Viking set. So like that piqued our interest. So once like the Strixhaven was on the radar,
it was
like the Magic player, like the veteran in me is always gonna see some cards, right? Like there's gonna be like some spoilers and shit that I'm gonna see.
You're gonna have like
dope, dude, that's awesome. But I wasn't like, I didn't go buy a bundle. I didn't buy a box of this. I bought literally the Commander decks and then a couple of products to talk about just for casting purposes. But other than that, I was like, no, I'm putting this aside because I know in a couple months that Dungeons and Dragons that's going to come out. And so here's my problem.
Yeah.
Not only is it a set that is based in the Dungeons and Dragons world, which I'm already going to want, like, shell out all, like, give me all that Magic content you can. On top of that, they're releasing more Commander decks with that set. So, and I can't do it. I mean, even though like most of the cards that come in these precons, like I probably have already, but I always buy all the precons because I have built this battle box of pre-constructed decks that's like 20 decks deep now at this point in time, because when new people come over and stuff like that, when we're playing, I wanted them to have that opportunity to be like, oh, I want to play like this weird, like black green elves deck or whatever. And they just pull something out and they play it out of the box. I don't change them.
You're kind of like, it's in a cool way. And this is like a compliment. So don't take it as like sometimes analogies go the wrong way where people are like, hey, you look like this guy. And you're like, that guy's an ass. Like, thanks. But you're like the DM of Magic. Where it's like, no, you don't need to get the books. You don't need to get the minis in the maps. Just come over and we'll have fun. And it's like, I have it. Like, we're good to go. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I give out so much shit because of that. Because I'm like, cool. Oh, dude, if you want to play, like, and you're like, oh, I can't get in, I can't afford it. Like, I'm the guy that's like, I'll give you a deck. Like, it ain't gonna have like like $200 worth of fucking cards in it. But I'm like, I'm gonna give you some shit. You're gonna learn how to play, and then from there you can. Yeah,
look how much stuff that like I gave away. When we're getting into D&D, it's like the same thing of that generosity of like, dude, you want to do it's like
that's how I've always been.
You want to play with me? All right.
I've never been like that person that's like, oh, I really like this, and I don't want anybody else to know about it. You know what I mean? Like music. I completely and totally get off on knowing about shit before people do. But I will never like keep that to myself. Like I will never like hear a band and be like, oh dude, I want to be like the cool dude in 2 years. It's been like, oh, I've been listening to them for like 3 years. No, I want to be the guy that's like champion that shit ahead of time, because to me, it's more fun the more people that are involved. So the more people that are involved in this game with us, the more people that are coming and watching our videos, the more people that are listening to the music we listen to. Like, I don't like the mainstream shit. Like there is that side of me that's like, well, now it's kind of like lost its appeal to me because it's like the masses love it. But I don't like, hold on to that stuff and keep it people.
It's not, I always think of Kurt Hammett, like, the band that used to fit in your back pocket doesn't fit in your back pocket anymore.
Right.
But I had a brain fart. Let's continue.
That's okay.
But no, show me some of the stuff that you picked up.
Yeah, so the one Commander deck I didn't rip into so far. So I got that. Sweet. Yeah, so this is called Lorehold Legacies, and I'll explain what this commander does, and then I will air my dirty laundry after that. See what I'm saying? So this is the primary commander. His name is Oscar the Reconstructor. 2 colorless, a red and a white, so 4 mana for a 4/4. Giant Artificer. He's got vigilance. You could pay 1 generic mana, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Or you can play X. You can pay X generic mana and tap him. Exile an artifact card with mana value X from your graveyard. Create 2 tokens that are copies of the exile card. Activate. So obviously this dude's wanting to be like artifact centric. You're gonna want things in your graveyard that are worth copying. But I do have to admit something about this one is that I had no idea. Like all these caught me by surprise because I didn't follow any of the spoilers. I didn't pay attention to this set before it came out. And so I did the terrible Magic player thing, which was when I was at the store and I can only buy one. I went to MTG Goldfish and I looked up what the value of each deck was if you were to buy everything separate.
Yeah.
And at the time, this one was like by far the most valuable. Now, I didn't do that because I'm like, oh, I'm going to rip this apart and like resell the shit. That's not why I did it. I did it because I was like, in a month or two, as I start to try to get more and more of these commander decks, the most expensive one is going to be the hardest one to get. That's always the one that's like never there. Like you go and you're like, oh, the black green one, the white black one, the blue red one's there, but I can never find the red white one.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to try to avoid. I wanted to make sure that I got the one at the time that was the most expensive, because later on down the road I wanted to be able to get it for retail and not to spend out my ass. But I'm gonna go, because I've opened some other ones, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up real quick.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go through like all the cards, but I just want to talk about a couple of things that I think are kind of cool and unique to this year's version of the commander decks.
Okay.
So first of all, like all previous years, you get the big O box. And so I'm not going to get too bitchy about that, but I'm like, me personally, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, hey, if you're not doing the oversized commanders anymore, why are we still like printing them in these big ass boxes? But that's either here or there, whatever. Like, I think it's more of like this is what people are used to looking for. They're used to seeing that big thing on the shelf. And plus, if you buy these and you want to kind of keep them for, some people like to buy Magic product and keep it sealed for like their offices or whatever. Like I see a lot of content creators that have like unopened Magic product in the background and it looks cool. But
not this one. It's all open.
Right. So one of the things I wanted to point out, first of all, and this is totally like, if you're a cheap person,
I love,
but
you're like a kid, you're doing box.
Empty box, whatever. But they kind of give you like the commander, like
and its own like little thing.
Like, but it's like, that's just showing you what it looks like. So my whole thing is like, oh shit, if there was like one that was really valuable, it's like, just cut that out. And then that could be your commander.
Oh, that's not a real card. That's just
that's not the real card. That's literally just showing you there. You can't see it. Like it's the box.
Oh, I've never had one like that. Yeah.
You would have to cut that out.
But you use it as proxy.
Exactly. But here's what I thought was cool that they added to this set is that on all the surfaces, they put these little punch outs in.
Yeah. Oh, those tokens?
Like counters. Yeah, like little counters. So I was like, all right. So the way I looked at it is I was like, all right, if you're gonna have the big box and shit like that, the fact that they're being creative with that space, like at least they're making it usable. They're giving us some tokens, they're giving us a proxy we can take out, and then on the back, they're giving you this, which you can pull out. You can punch that out, and now this is a divider for the deck box that comes in. So I like the fact that they're utilizing the package. So you do get a box, your commander comes in, it has just a regular piece of cardboard. It's just like a placeholder that can go away. Just like the ones we got in the last couple sets. You get the spin down life counter thing. That like cardboard like life counter thing, and then like a learn to play Magic.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I throw that out too, because
for me being like a dice like goblin, I've come to appreciate the spin downs, the paper ones, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing I like that they've been doing, and this is where this punch out comes in, because this will slide in to the box, so it's a divider. The thing I like that they've been doing for the last several sets, and this is not only the commander sets, but also the like when they used to the planeswalker sets and stuff like that, is they're finally giving you a box that's bigger than the amount of cards that come in. So if you sleeve this up like most people do, they fit into the fucking box. That used to drive me fucking crazy. It was like I would get these planeswalker decks, and the on-sleeved cards fit perfectly into that cool deck box. And you're like, that's great. As soon as I put these in sleeves, that thing's not going to freaking contain this.
No. So, when you got me for Christmas that red deck, the theme deck, I forget her name. She's like got like the guy, it looks like Catwoman, kind of like with the goggle Catwoman, and her hair's on fire. It's like this cool box, and it's like, yeah, put them in, the cards in. I'm like, oh, there's some space, sweet, sleeve them all up, man. There's no more space.
Nope, no more space.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they came out with 5 decks this time as opposed to 4. They keep going back and forth with that. Like,
I don't mind that, because then it's like it keeps it. I feel like it's less.
Well, these are 40 like retail. Like, so if you don't get a deal through your local game store, if you go to like the big box stores, which unfortunately I did, you're looking at like $42 per deck, and there's 5 of them. So
nice.
That adds up pretty quickly. The other things I got, I don't know if you want me to open any of them while we're on stream, but I got 2 regular 15 card boosters. I did buy 2 of the set boosters, which have like the chances of a little bit more foils and stuff like that. And then I bought 2 of the theme boosters, and that's only because one of them's blue, this one's blue green, this one's blue red, and there's a blue card I'm trying to get, so I just did that to increase my chances of getting that blue card. So but it's a cool set. I can go over to mechanics real quick if you want me to do that. Or
let's talk about some new mechanics. Like what makes this like different with the schools having that, and then we can follow it up with another question. Is someone like me who's kind of like, I'm gonna sleep on this, but is there one thing from this set that you would recommend? Like, hey, you don't need to get everything, but this is one thing I would say, if you find it.
All right, I got a good answer for that. I got a good answer to that. Yep. So I'm going to talk about the mechanics. This little paragraph here will do a perfect job of introducing the first mechanic plus kind of the overall theme. So it says, it's not all flirting and fighting with classmates, mage tower practices, and complaining about your overbearing resident advisor here at Strixhaven. A few hours each week are devoted to actual education, and so is the new keyword action learn. So there's a new keyword which is called learn. It says you may reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game. And put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. So if you use a card that's got learn on it, you can do 2 things. You can grab a card from outside the game. So if you're playing standard Magic, you can grab a card from your sideboard. Or if you're playing like Commander or Casual, you can just grab any fucking card that you want, I guess. Or if you don't have a card to grab outside of the game, you can decide that I'm going to discard a card and draw a card. So that could open up the possibility for a number of strategies. Some strategies, they like Madness, they want you to discard a card, because if something tells you to discard a card, if that card's got Madness on it, you can pay that card's Madness cost, and it's greatly reduced. Like it may normally cost 4 mana, but if something tells you to discard a card, so you discard that card, you may be able to pay 1 mana to get its effect. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yep. So that's the learn, that's the lesson. So they have cards in this set that have the the keyword lesson on them. So this card, their showcase card, if you want to call it, or the example they're using, this is a sorcery dash lesson. It just says put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains vigilance till end of turn. So you could have grabbed that card from outside the game, and or you could have just discarded the card, drew a card. So
okay,
yeah. So that's like, depends on how well it's supported in the future. I'm not like super jacked about that keyword ability. I think that in certain cases, the being able to discard and draw a card will be important. But as far as the lessons, I haven't seen like a ton that are really like appealing to me. Now, if somebody comes to this video that's been really like honed in on Strixhaven, they're going to be like, well, you didn't know about this. That's fine.
yeah.
This is coming from the casual, the commander player, the person that has seen maybe 20% of the cards that are available in this set.
Hey, and if there's something that, if you come across this video, there's something that you like, no, focus on this, let us know in the comments. Be like, hey,
exactly. Like, be like, hey, dummy, you forgot about this,
whatever. Hey, you fucking
and then
asshole.
I'm gonna be, oh shit, yeah, you're right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
So next keyword ability is something called Magecraft. Magecraft is another keyword ability on cards. So it'll say Magecraft in italicized, and then it says whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, something happens. So that's what Magecraft is. So it's like whenever you actually cast a instant or sorcery, or you copy a spell, something is going to happen. So this one says Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, Eager first year gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So it's a 2/2 creature for 2 mana, white, one generic and a white. So 1 generic and a white for a 2/2 named Eager first year. Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, Eager first year gets +1/+0. I kind of like this card for my my Pauper cube, just because it's a different take on the vanilla like 2/2 for 2 mana creature. But I'm kind of excited about Magecraft. Magecraft has got a bunch of different abilities out there, but all the abilities surround either casting or copying a instant or sorcery spell.
Okay.
So if you're playing a deck that's got a lot of instants and sorceries and stuff like that, you can kind of pull this Magecraft into
interesting.
Yeah, your highlights. Here's another one. This one's off of a rare 2 and 2 blue for Archmage Emeritus. This is the freaking blue card I'm trying to get. That's why I bought those packs. His is Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, draw a card. So literally it's like you cast an instant or sorcery, draw a card. We all know that card draw in Magic is very powerful. Anytime that you can have card advantage on your opponent is something that you're trying to go for. All right, so moving on. Next mechanic or keyword is something called ward. So in Magic, there are a couple different things. There is something called Shroud, which is a creature with Shroud or a permanent with Shroud. It cannot be targeted by abilities or spells at all. Like Shroud is sort of like you cannot target this creature with spells or abilities. So that means you personally or your opponent. Then years later they improved that by coming out with a mechanic called Hexproof, which means your opponents can't target that creature, but you can. And the reason why that's important is because you may have a card that says like target creature gets +3/+3, or you may want to put an enchantment on a creature, and if it had Shroud, you couldn't target your own creature. Now they came out with something called Ward, and that is a very easy thing. It's literally Ward and then a number. So this one, for example, is Ward 2, and this is whenever this creature becomes the target or spell of an ability an opponent controls, counter it unless that player pays that much mana. So this is a 3/1 common It's a Jin wizard with flying, so it's a common. It's not going to have like much special, but it does have that ward too. So if somebody were to try to like kill it, whatever, they would have to pay 2 extra mana on top of the mana it costs for their spell or ability to counter that. I know the creature that I'm building a new EDH deck around, it has ward 8. So because it's 8 mana on top of whatever else, it's effectively hexproof for that. For that creature. So pretty cool. I like that ability. I like the ward ability. We'll see how that plays. They're coming back with or they came back with what they call the modal double face cards. So these are the ones that you can pay whatever the mana cost is on the front side and play it that way, or you can pay the different mana cost
on the back
and play the back cost. I love these cards. They're not all great, not every version of them, but I love the fact that it gives you it gives you tools in your toolbox in your deck depending on what you may want to do. And it's the same thing with back in a couple of sets ago.
At Kaldheim, because Kaldheim had the double mold.
No, there was the can't remember, but it had all the adventures. They were called adventures, so you could cast like one side of the card or the other. I like having choices. Some of them are even lands. Some of them are like, oh, you can cast this
that's cool
as a spell.
Yeah.
Or if it's early on in the game and you're kind of like mana fuck, you can like use it as a land. So I really love that versatility of some of those cards. Like I said, they're not all great. Not every one of them is like a home run, but some of them are like really, really cool, especially when it comes to like, like I said, having other things that you're trying to do in your decks and stuff like that, like more tools in the toolbox.
Cool.
So but that's it. That's the big things. The non-evergreen mechanics, as we call it. So evergreen being things like death touch, flying, first strike. Those are things that are like in every set.
Yeah. So something that gives this thing a different flavor,
right,
than just the normal.
How
about I not come back?
So my one thing that I would tell you before we wrap up this.
What's one thing that you would tell me?
I would tell you is I would tell you. Yeah, because you're not a fucking maniac like I am. I would tell you that if you see them at the box stores, if you see the commander decks, for this set, if you see one that's got like the color combinations, or you look at the front or you look at the back and you're like, oh man, that's kind of like my style. Yeah, just pick one up. Just pick one commander deck up just to have it, because the reason why is two reasons. Number one, a lot of these commander decks are becoming very awesome to play like out of the right out of the box with like very little changes. But the other reason is because you kind of liked commander, like you learned, you had a Korea, no, not a Korea, you had the Zendikar Rising one, I think. You had one of those commanders.
I was kind of hip to that one too, where it was like it was almost like I was like preemptively getting into Kaldheim through Zendikar Rising. So I remember when that came out, I got the whale, I got the Moby Dick.
Yes. So it's going to give you more commander cards, more reprints for your collection, because
I really enjoyed
Commander's not going anywhere, and it's become very obvious with the things that have happened in the last couple of weeks that it's only going to get better for Commander players.
Yes. So. Yeah, definitely. And I really enjoyed Commander. It was weird that like knowing and being somebody who still calls it EDH because of you, like like I'm kind of hip because by proxy. But knowing it and then realizing like, dude, this is kind of what I was looking for, not knowing it, because you create more of an evergreen deck. Evergreen's the word of the day, right?
Yeah. No, that's a great example.
But yeah, because it was like I got too overwhelmed the first time, because it was just like constantly being like, what's expired? What's this? And you're like, dude, don't care.
No, dude,
Don't
I
worry
got a
about
guy at work that
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, do you have like Magic cards that you could bring in and we can play?" Because he's like, I played Magic for a while,
Mhm.
and that's why he quit,
Yeah.
because he didn't have friends that played just kitchen table Magic. He didn't have people that
Yeah.
played Commander. All he knew was going to like the FNMs and stuff like
Mhm.
that and keeping up with Standard.
Yeah.
And you have to like change your shit every rotation.
Mhm.
And some people don't like to do that. Like they
Yeah.
want to
Well,
just
it
have like
became
that deck that they've been
overwhelming, and
working on.
yeah. And maybe for someone like me who's
Like
like
you said, like I can't remember.
freaked
I
out.
can't even tell you how many times you texted me and you're like, okay, what's still
Yeah.
legal and what can I not have in my decks? So yeah, dude,
And I'm just buying packs at that point because I wasn't, you know what I mean.
right.
All right, so that's cool. So yeah, if I see this, if I see this on the shelves, I'll definitely I'll peruse the color combos and see what I got. I should also make sure. I think my two commander decks now are blue something. Each one of them is blue, and then the other.
Yeah, so you might want to like change up the color combo just so
Yeah,
you.
just kind of get out of my
Right.
box. All right, is that for Strixhaven?
Yeah, that
All right,
was it.
cool.
That was all I had for
You
Strixhaven.
like
All I had to say, because I'm not versed enough to talk about it, but if you came here recently
Yeah.
because of the Magic content and you're worried about like what's happened with the pro stuff and everything, like go follow pro players and listen to their casts and stuff like that. They are going to be like more well versed on how the changes are affecting the pros.
Yeah.
But as far as like anybody else, I'm here to say you have to remember competitive Magic and pro Magic are
Yeah.
not the same
They're
thing.
not the same thing. Yeah.
The pro league may be going away. Competitive Magic is staying. So there's still going to be tournaments to go to. There's still going to be FNMs. Let's call it what it is. Magic Arena failed for Magic. There may be a lot of people, but as far as like they wanted to make that like the new standard for pro. Like they wanted to make it to where like we were going to get into esports or whatever.
Mm.
Come at me, whatever. I don't know 100% what I'm talking about, but I can tell you based on the fact that they're making these changes that they are no longer going to put all their eggs in the Magic Arena basket, and they're getting more back to the gathering, which is in the fucking name of Magic. So, but no, competitive Magic is not going anywhere. The pro Magic that we know it is probably going to change, but a lot of people don't even realize that they ripped the guts out of the pro level Magic 2 years ago when it came to the announcement of Magic Arena, and then that whole thing failed. So they've been fucking with this pro level Magic shit for a couple of years now. But yeah, there's still going to be tournaments to go to. Our cards are still going to hold value. So don't everybody like crap the bed. Everything's going to be fine. But like I said, when it comes to pro level Magic, I know nothing about it. I had my hot moment back about 8 years ago when I was like kind of like really good FNM player, and I made some freaking moves in SCG tournaments, but I never even came close to freaking pro level. So I don't know what to talk about when it comes to pros or how that affects them.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of shitty because they were in a position where this was like a livelihood. They basically like made like a career out of this, and now like they've all effectively like lost their jobs at this point in time.
I think
so there is that aspect of it, but Wizards is still saying that like it's going to be replaced by something. So I still think that they're going to have that avenue.
And if you're doing this as a living, you're doing something else. Like it's sort of like being a wrestler, being a professional skateboarder, being a YouTuber. You're doing something to diversify, set yourself apart, get income that's not just playing the tournaments, or at least you should be. You know, there was one of the pros that I read in the article pretty much stated that fact. He's like, it's never been about, you know, being the. I'll actually read what he wrote so I don't get so I don't paraphrase and mess it up. But the whole thing, his name is Brian Kibler, which I don't know.
Oh yeah, big time one. Yep.
So it says being a Magic Pro is likely to look different in the future, and likely to be more about content creation and building personal brand than about winning tournaments and getting that Wizards of the Coast paycheck. He continued, but that's the secret. It's always it always was. How do you think I got where how do you think I got
Yeah, because most of these people are making way more money or are way more popular just based off of books that they've written, streams, content, YouTube channels, like Twitch shit. Like my whole thing, like Brian Kibler is a perfect example. You think just because they ended Pro Tour Magic that like the shit that Brian Kibler says about new cards that are coming out all of a sudden has like less weight to it? People are still gonna want to know like his take on like the new sets, the new decks, and everything else. So
I always remember somebody said that they're talking about jobs that people assume are fun also think that they're like easy. And also the same can be said, jobs that you think are fun, you need to just do two things: learn your craft and become a brand.
Yeah.
If you're a comedian, you skateboarder, you're a wrestler, a YouTube creator.
Yeah, dude, like a comedian's not just like jumping on stage one time a week
and
like getting like millions of followers.
Yeah, you
like
learn your craft.
That shit.
Yeah, because I mean, look at what happened with the pandemic. Stages shut down. They found a way to do comedy because they're a brand and a craft, mainly. So it's like that's what you have to do. If Pro League leaves, you still have your FNM nights that you broadcast, on Twitch. You still have your content creation. You still have books. You have to just diversify. It's like retirement. You diversify your portfolio.
That's all I got on Magic. So
all right, man. It's a good episode. Thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, thank you. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. We're definitely looking into our show, our topics, changing some stuff up in the future, and stuff like that. So definitely, if it's something that you like, let us know. Also, stick around and subscribe because one of our future episodes is going to be some stuff that we're into, kind of in this.
And this is a good one.
It is a good one.
Good what we're into shit.
So hit the subscribe button and you can jump in that episode. All right.
All right.
Peace. Out.